So we're here with Uro. I've played this before, but looking at when I played it, it was like a year ago. There's been a lot of cards since then, although it's kind of, it's still Uro. It's not like this is doing anything much more fancy than the other one. It's just a stronger format at this point. So we have all the best of blue, best of green. I'm running some extra turns. I could run more, but the one that, like, is it temporal, whatever it's called, it, like, takes out of my graveyard, so I'm not running anything delve-centric, because I don't want to get in the way of escaping Uro. I'm not going to try to stifle Uro. I know there's, well, stifle, and then there's that other one that's 1 mana. Just doesn't really seem worth it to me. I also might want to end up running more than just 40 lands. I really want this to always hit a land, right? It would be rather ideal. I'm running more fetch lands than usual as well, so there's quote-unquote less lands in the deck at any one point to actually draw as you're like thinning your deck of lands. So I don't know if 40 is enough. I might actually go to 45 in a couple games, but we'll see. Other than that, yeah, it's just pretty straightforward. Oh, there's no tooth and nail. I think at this point, I mean, you could run tooth and nail. I just, A, don't really want to right now, and B, the blue counterspell package is like extremely strong, and just making more room for it is probably better than like a 9 mana sometimes doesn't win immediately card. And yep, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe, playing Uro. We're doing it. We're sending it. I probably am. I don't even know if Uro is tier 1. I don't think it is. It's playing like the best of blue and green, so maybe it is. Honestly, it's almost hard to tell at this point because every single deck just has like really good 1s and 2s. Oh, I've never played Once Upon a Time either. I still kind of don't like it though, to be honest. Looks like our opponent has Pact of Negation? I think that's what that was, right? Looks like there's Pact of Negation in there. Yeah, there's nothing else that could be, not that I'm aware of. Well, I could just keep... No. Yeah, so much Simic you can't even keep track. You're not wrong. Alright, we're gonna lead with this here, see what happens. Get rid of Jace? Feels weird. I think it's right, though. I feel like Doppelgang will be good. Alright. Jace goes bye-bye. Let's play this. Okay. This is alright. It's as good as I'm gonna let it. Finally caught one of my streams. Hello! I haven't streamed in, I think like a week, so. Good to see you, though. I don't always stream. I think I should keep this. It is Atraxa. I do not see a Cavern of Souls yet, so that's fine. Okay. I wouldn't feel bad about drawing off this charm. Yeah, I'm not going to counter that. I'll probably just draw here. Yeah, that's fine. It's only a matter of time until they cast what I believe is Pact of Negation. Alright, so... Am I one off? It's 5 other. I am one off. I can cast this. But then the problem is I can't leave up Essence Scatter. Although my opponent has really no incentive to actually cast Atraxa. So maybe that's just fine. Alright, Uro. Do things. I'm not casting Birds of Paradise. Wow, they do just run it out. So there is Pact Negation. We know about this. Which is fine, because my opponent, I mean, if they get a bunch of cards here, they have to pay for packs, and they also have to, like, do things, right? They have to, like, discard... Wow, another Thought Distortion player. What is going on? Another Thought Distortion player? They keep it over the extra turn? I don't even have any cards in my hand. What are you doing? You have to also pay for your pack, don't you? So you can't even cast this next turn. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3. Actually, let's just... Alright, so we got 1, 2. And then 1, 2. So we can do this for 2. I'm fine with that. Let's do you and Uro is funny to draw. I can just target anything really at all. Yeah, let's actually target Uro. They're legendaries, but that's fine. I mean, this is a quadrillion extra, like... This is busted, isn't it? I feel like this is busted. I mean, it makes sense now with Thought Distortion, but it's still just... My opponent can't cast it next turn, right? They literally cannot cast it. And then I get a bunch of Uro triggers. Oh, this is... That was great. That was amazing. And then let's cast you here. You. Again, my opponent has to pay 5 next turn. You. And swing with this and that. I drew a land, so I don't feel bad about accidentally not flaring first. Let's get rid of this. Alright, they gotta pay 5. So no Thought Distortion. And then I run into Expropriate this turn. They need a discard spell, basically? Okay. They play that into a known negate. I probably should have countered that, I'm not gonna lie. I probably should have countered that. But I didn't. Alright, well that was the first game I played. And it went really well. So, yeah. Doppelgang is awesome. I targeted 2 legendary permanents too, so I didn't actually get to keep anything really, except, well, I mean, I got a 7/7, but... Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, we saw an extra turn, and my opponent was fully aware that my hand had 2 cards in it, and they chose to take Thought Distortion, while also knowing their next turn was just tap 5 for Pact. I mean, this hand is fine, though. It feels weird to mulligan a hand like this. Like, if a hand like this is bad in Historic Brawl, I think there's a problem. I'm going to keep it. Not every mono green or green opponent is going to have the 1-drop, so I just have to keep like a pretty solid hand. It's like good if they don't have it, and basically I lose if they do. Okay. Let's play that. What the heck is this? Untapped Surveil land. Alright. Interesting. Gets rid of Harmonize. Whoa. That's also interesting. This is return an elf, untap a land. Turn an elf, yep. Well, I'm not really keeping up any secrets here. It's kind of obvious what I'm going to do. There are no secrets, opponent. This is 2 islands in play. It's exactly what you think it is. Splunking. I'm going to counter it. I'm going to counter it because the next counter spell window is not next turn, so I'm going to just use my resources and keep my opponent basically at parity with me, sort of. Well, to a degree, at least. And the symbiote is all the priority. It's not like Pact Negation's going to come out of my opponent. Now, there's not like a ton of scary elementals, and the scary Nissa turn is behind us. Well, currently, at least. I will keep this in the graveyard. Alright, mono green might have problems with Earl just existing, but we do have to get there. Well, like, if they play Nissa this turn, I'm not super concerned with the rest of that turn. The symbiote makes me think it's really in on elves, and there are really no elves matter kinds of things other than the, like, draw an elf, but I think the elemental, like, lot is just slightly better. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. What do we do with this turn? Ramp? Ramp and Jace? Yeah, I like that. We can just ramp and Jace here, I think. Assuming I could actually cast Jace. Yep, this beyond the turn threshold here. And bloop. I mean, plotting the Modern Age is kind of the same as just drawing it and discarding it, but this way I suppose I get to draw discard twice. I don't know, maybe maybe there's logic in that. Either way, it's kind of goofy. So they can animate a land as a 4/4 here, and we lose Jace, but was probably going to happen no matter what I did, right? I don't think Jace is super useful in this spot. They must have drawn a land. Otherwise, maybe no Nissa this turn. Yep, so they did draw a land. I'd be surprised if they had a stronger play than kill Jace. They can actually swing for 8. They can untap this and swing with 2 lands. That's actually a lot of damage. But they'd lose this, yeah, maybe that's not worth it, but that is funny. Alright. So, should lead with this. Might as well. No lands in hand for the opponent, so Nissa's not going to be triggering, but I'm sure they have ramp spells or something. That was a really, really, really good draw, actually. It flips immediately. That was kind of disgusting. Yeah, okay. It pluses and it minuses 1s to the attacks. So assuming Earl lives, I'm not going to River's Rebuke this turn. I'll leave the counterspell in the graveyard. I could have River's Rebuked here, but I don't really care too much about the current board state. And flipping Tamiel seems really good. So how does this work? Okay. It doesn't matter how it works. I'm only plussing this turn anyways. Do I play the Leafkin Druid or do I leave this up? I could represent interaction, though I don't really think my opponent will ever respect the interaction. So I probably should just cast this. Although 4 block. Yep, okay. I'm going to commit to casting this. I feel like the tricks of representing a counterspell are just not really worth it here. They drew another land for the turn, so it's been forest. There are some big, scary green cards here, but they do seem heavy in elves, and elves don't go too large, so I kind of anticipate just ramp spells here. Manually tapping is unusual. I don't really know what the point of all that is. What is happening? I'm so confused. So we pick up our Loam Speaker to untap the land, but you could have just tapped the Loam Speaker. So it didn't seem that necessary. Is this a way to get a 4/4? Okay, real top 5. Okay, so it is basically an elf deck, right? And they did hit Elvish Archdruid, which is a little annoying. That's certainly one of the better ones. Oh, and they hit this too, actually. Alright, they hit, like, some pretty good... Some really good elves, actually. Some of the best elves you can play. I do get to sort of reset the board. Why did they buff Loam Speaker? What? What do you mean buff it? You mean bounce it? I don't know. I do not know. I could not help you with that one. You're on your own. Alright, well, we are going to do this always. It used to make it a 3/3. Oh, it did? No, isn't the 3/3 the nerfed version? I thought the 3/3 was like the nerfed one. Okay, I'm going to pick up the... Oh, you know what? I'm not gonna pick it up. I'm gonna try to race to an ultimate here. I think I can actually get an ultimate out and basically win from there. So we'll try to do that. And yep, it takes 6. I will play birds and probably just simply cast this. I don't really have to hit the land off it. It's not really that useful. The one has an A is a 3/3? Yeah, so then the one with the A is the... Oh, it is the one with the A. It's literally the changed one. I thought the A was next to the set symbol. I forgot. Yeah, alright. So they did buff it. Interesting. I guess a 3/3 wasn't good enough? Not sure. They tapped the land so they could make 1 more mana? Oh, is that how it worked? Well, but they could have just tapped the Loam Speaker itself for mana, though. They didn't have to untap a land. Target land becomes... It doesn't untap the land. So tapping the Loam Speaker is essentially the same thing, unless I'm not understanding something. You could just literally tap this. Now, it doesn't really matter anyways, I think. Because my opponent's always going to do the same thing, regardless. But it is kind of funny. So do I bounce the board again with a second board wipe or second sweeper? No, I really think I should commit to this attempt at ultimating. I have 3 blockers for what is essentially only 3 attackers, because nothing has haste, and I have a counterspell for any further threat that could impede the ultimate. And do I cast this? I don't see why I don't. Okay. Just put the lands back. Actually, let's do this. That. Like that. Casting the Ronus thing is fine, but I mean, how is that better than this? This just has to be the best thing. And I'll just play lands, fine. I could have just cast Fanatic, kept 2 lands on top. Uro would go land, draw land. So this would have made some sense, but I don't need it. I don't need it. And I'm fine with this entering tap this turn. I think that just works. Need it to bounce an elf to untap a creature. Bounce Nissa's, they bounce a Loam Speaker. Yeah, they made the mana with the land. It's just like if they tap this for a mana, it's essentially the same exact thing. I'm going to put this on top of my opponent's deck. This is a way for my opponent to draw a useful elemental or elf off of Nissa. And this is a pretty not exciting top deck here, so that's fine. And it shows me that that's maybe the scariest thing they had. So, it's fine. How do you sack this? Oh, okay. Really? Wow. That's all they have. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm certainly... Yeah, that's okay. Yep, they untap that. They pick up the Analyst. And I don't believe my opponent's next spell is going to stop Tamiel, so I think I just win here. I'd be rather surprised. I don't even really have to cast this, but my opponent, I mean, I'm about to draw, like, so many cards it might not... Alright, I'm just going to counter it. I'm just going to counter it. My opponent's willing to, like, draw it twice. I'm just going to counter it. Yep. Yep. Boop. That's probably better than a random card, I think. So I do have Archmage's Charm. I assume there's going to be a Mana Rock here. Atraxa does not like to go without at least a Mana Rock. Green opens the window for more things as well. That is not a Mana Rock. That's very slow. That's very slow. Love to see it. This doesn't look like a game where I'm going to cast Uro twice from the command zone, so I'm going to keep it in the graveyard there. Alright, well, I got all the mana in the universe. As in 5. If my opponent doesn't get stuff rolling that I have to interact with here, I'm probably going to want to draw off this Archmage's Charm really quickly. That's a Knight of Autumn, just, I assume, blowing up the Utopia Sprawl, yep. That is a Knight of Autumn. Wow. That's kind of nuts. I like it. I like it. I'm all for it. Alright, I'm going to draw 2. Alright. I did hit my land, just kind of Sag land. That is a Knight of Autumn. Wow. Opponent bins Llanowar Elves. I would argue it's still pretty useful here, even on turn, what is this for? I would still feel fine about actually casting this here. Maybe they're looking for a land? I doubt that, though. I haven't missed any yet. I can cast Uro next turn. Oh, we got a 4-drop? Oh, no, we have 4-minute interaction. Alright. Love to see it. Do I simply do this instead? Because my opponent has what I assume is patently obvious interaction, I'm going to just do this instead. Oh, stifle me, please. Ah, tragic. Yeah, this has to just be fine, right? This is basic. This might even just be better than casting Uro. And I will, because my opponent hasn't done anything. Casting this lets my opponent maybe use this mana to blow something up that I... It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass. I have 3 counter spells in hand. It's this deep into the game. I'm not going to shields down just to potentially flip this, and it's not even likely to survive anyways. That is honestly not at all what I expected. That is not at all what I expected. I was really hoping they wouldn't use their mana there, but they did. Oh well. I would still say Llanowar Elves is quite useful even this late into the game. Nope, there it is. They play Boseiju, and still having the same amount of mana. So we did some good stuff, just didn't avoid anything, right? Opponent still has what they had last time. It's alright. Killing Uro is usually, it feels bad. So you don't really ever miss Uro getting killed by a removal spell. A lot of slow priority today, too. A lot of people taking their time. So do I cast this? I am 1 counterspell short. That's fine. That is okay with me. Alright, there it was. That was a card I was actually thinking about. And there it was. There she blows. It also did not deal with Uro. So does my opponent have Cavern of Souls, maybe? Something that they guarantee to get this through is the idea, so this doesn't matter. It can't swing. They manually tap one. What is this? Utopia Sprawl? What is happening? It looks like Utopia Sprawl. This is definitely Utopia Sprawl. There's only one forest in play for them. Oh, you can't see the state of the hair. I know. I know. It's a lot. Well, it's not a lot longer, but it's certainly longer. I haven't set up my webcam since I swapped to OBS. I've been lazy, I'm not gonna lie. I've been lazy. This, to me, is completely insane. I don't understand, but I will take it. I will gladly take that. That is a transaction I don't think my opponent came out on top with. And this is uncounterable, so... whoop. Looks like the last spell in my opponent's hand is a counterspell, which would make sense. It would justify a bit more of what they just did. Still wouldn't do this even if this was a mana drain, though. I still would not cast a Wrath there. Like, ever. Yep, it was a counterspell, so my opponent taking that long made it pretty obvious there. Oh, do we get to soft counter it? Yeah, we do. Look at that. Love it. Opponent immediately conceded. They didn't even see the counterspell, I don't think. It's looking like Halana's not even going to matter at this rate if they go, like, Cultivate or something. Yeah, nice red cards. They didn't even play... Oh, they couldn't have. I was like, they didn't even play this as a red side. They couldn't have done that. Topiary Stomper. That notably does not have the ability to attack. Topiary? 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 Turper? Turtle? I don't know. I think it's Topiary. It could be Topiary. Topiary? Like dairy? Look, I'm trying, alright? I'm trying. Ooh, I like that draw. So, decline. Okay. My opponent's had one mountain. Just mono green with, like, Halana. Why play red cards? Opponent's onto something. Maybe this is what I did wrong. I tried to play red cards with Halana. Wait, what? Oh, because Halana likes to... Yeah. Gotcha. Gotcha. Alright, Uro. Do Uro things. My entire hand is excellent, and I love it, so... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Halana is only 2. I mean, my opponent literally just played mono green, and then Halana is a top end. It's really funny. So when this dies, it deals damage. So if I block it, I trades with Uro, and that seems pretty bad here. They should swing with it. Uro trading with the 1-drops feels bad. They do not swing with it because they want to do the trading. That I can respect that. That makes sense here. And I will accommodate, right? Do I let that happen? Yeah, I mean, this is what Uro does. This is literally what it does. I could have played this to, like, bait the situation a little bit differently here, but I didn't. Decline, extra turn. Cavernous Souls on Elder Giant? I guess Eldrazi. No, I don't want to let them know I have an Eldrazi. Just do Elder. And play this minus pick up. Can I pick up anything? Could just plus it. Goes up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's probably right to simply pick up a land. I know it looks weird. Oh, wait a minute. I could cast Uro again. But then I can't leave up my counterspell. And I don't really know. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. And if I miss a land, it's going to be really bad that I did that. So it's my opponent's last card. Might as well counter it. Alright, it's Halana versus the world here. Or, I should say Vector Glider versus the world. There is a lot of damage going that way, and none of it went to my face. That is interesting. I could have actually blocked to get another card in my graveyard. Oh well. At least they did play a red card. That's pretty cool. Oh, cool. Thanks. Kind of expected them to not do that. Oh, giving Uro haste is so satisfying, too. I love it. So, I'm actually going to not swing because I don't have to. Right? I can just sit here like this. I have a counterspell for top decks. That does not do any... Oh, it does blow up my Vector Glider. That's annoying. Alright, opponent conceded before I even did anything. I'm not sure if I would counter this. This gets blown up because it's an enchantment, and it takes some damage. But then I can probably... Yeah, I think I genuinely just let this happen. Because I think this would be useful later in different top decks. But yeah, look at that. Halana, mono green, because that's better than ever contemplating red cards in Historic Brawl. I did not have a lot of hope with that Birds of Paradise, though. I mean, they did change it. It's just kind of... Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, I guess. Alright, look at that. Game's decided by turn 2, because Llanowar Elves exists. I'm excited to see the next... like, iteration of Standard Brawl. I'd like to see what happens there. Liliana Zombies? The 5-mana Liliana, or the, which one? I'm going to put this back to the command zone. I am certainly playing it twice. Actually, I'm not even familiar with any Liliana except the 3-mana ones. You mean the 3-mana? Like Liliana of the Shurburburburburr? Okay, so we made a huge mistake here. I'm now realizing I've made a rather colossal mistake. I'm going to just... cycle this extra turn. I should have played the Rivet... Wait, can this even get... No. Alright, I didn't necessarily quote-unquote make a mistake then. So play that. This lets me leave up... There we go, that's what I really wanted. Wood source left up. That's fine. I need to just cycle the extra turn. I'm not upset with that. Yep. I cannot risk exploring into non-blue here. Otherwise I would do that. Okay, now you stay in the graveyard. Liliana untouched by death. That one's cool. I like that one. If it's what I'm thinking of. There's a chance my brain is going in the wrong direction. Could take an extra turn, but it doesn't really feel like it's doing anything, so. This way we get birds later, yay! Okay, so we have 4. Oh no, that's annoying. Well, it's actually not that annoying because it's still just like Roxanne. Yeah. Oh, they can cast that though. Oh, they immediately hit a 5-drop. That's so disgusting. All right, fair enough. I mean, I'm still probably just automatically winning. So. Probably automatically winning. Yep. That was a very good turn though for a non-Roxanne turn. That's pretty good. I'm surprised to see this. I'm not a big fan of this card. Although Roxanne is one of those commanders that does get to this point in the game. There's a lot that do not, though, especially in green, but I suppose Roxanne is. I just personally haven't played this much, but I mean, I am kind of a counterspell removal spell player. I like my control decks more, so, you know, you can't really cast the cards for free if half of them are counterspell. They just go to your hand. Baral, alright. I haven't seen Brawl in a minute. It's usually Malcolm or Tamio. I think Tamio is vastly superior to Baral at this point in historic Brawl. Just Tamio comes in immediately. If you're on the play, Tamio on turn 1 is like disgusting. I'm going to cast this now. I'm not going to get cute. Don't you do it. Don't you do it. Alright, good. It's a pretty easy discard River's Rebuke, I think. I know it sounds funny, but we're playing against Brawl and lands have value. They can't realistically counter Uro, so. I mean, they can mana drain it, but Brawl doesn't really use mana drain too efficiently, right? And again, countering Uro doesn't really get you anywhere in the long run, so, you know, as expected. I almost didn't put a land in play. That would have been emotionally just very devastating. Very devastating to my feelings. Alright, play Brawl. Yeah, that's right. One trick pony. Love it. Don't you stifle me. Okay. I don't like that pause. Maybe nervous. They can go. I will attempt to unable to scream. I'll play my land first. Probably doesn't matter too much. Baral isn't even that scary, but there's not a lot of things to unable to scream. They do just negate. Interesting. All right. So now we do not have Uro, which is tragic, but I can play this. I think I'll swing first. The wall of counters hath commenced. They are here now. I probably should get rid of this. It's not going to resolve ever. Yeah, just get rid of that. Alright, our opponent has either the Flare of Denial or Pact of Negation. Which I think both are totally fine. Well, they can't cast Pact, so by all means cast Pact. I'd love to see it. Alright, this is a little unusual, but it does work. It's a thing you can do. Malcolm is about to actually get the 4th chorus counter, but I don't actually have anything to do with that. So, there's definitely a counterspell on Uro, but I mean, I didn't come here to not repeatedly cast it, so I'm going to do that. Whirlwind Denial, I have to pay 4, I cannot. Keep it in the graveyard, yep. Yep. I don't even know if I should play this land, but it's too late. Okay, I didn't expect that. I kind of expected an unsummon. Okay, this is Ward 1. Okay. I'm gonna try to stop it, I guess. It's fine. I can cast Uro as well. But, I mean, again, they could have just a bunch of counter spells. But this doesn't do anything until there's a big payoff or something out of their deck, and they just haven't shown me one yet. But the wall of counter magic is still going. Opponent actually discards a soft counter spell, sure. Alright, Uro yet again. Just keep trying. Yep, of course it's a soft counter spell, why wouldn't it be? I can recast it the hard way, and I think I will. Yeah, we're going to put that to the command zone, because I'm going to have to recast it the hard way. At least once here. Maybe my opponent's not paying attention, and they counter it on the front side. Alright, maybe not the case. Okay, let's cast this. Decline. Search for Escanta is pretty useful, but if I have to cast it into counter spells, I just have to cast it into counter spells. It's not like it's... I'm literally not casting it, right? That just doesn't make sense to me. Alright, well, I have the board, unless they have River's Rebuke or something. Okay. So our opponent gets one land, but this will never become a creature. It's just a land. That's pretty cool, though. I like that. Mono blue removal. Love to see it. Time Warp. Casting it is the same as binning it. I'm just going to bin it. Can't cast Uro. This is a spot where I kind of wish I had more things to do. Do I cast this anyways? I think I genuinely do. Yeah, we're going to cast this here. Kind of miserable, but it is what it is. As long as my opponent doesn't draw cards, I think I'm okay. They haven't had any yet, right? Like a bunch of... like a 2-minute draw 2 or something. Stuff I just don't want to see. Target player draws 3, then discards 3. That's interesting. I mean, it's a thing you can do. Just... okay. Alright. Oof. Also, oof. Do I cast it? I don't know. Actually, I genuinely don't know. I don't think I do. Do I? Nah. Alright, well, that doesn't draw multiple cards. It's just one. But I assume there's a counter spell on the other side of that there. I can try to just poke for 1 repeatedly. Negate was actually pretty good here. Maybe. I could just try to attack for 1 so my opponent mills or puts a creature in my graveyard. Does that make sense? It's not like it's doing anything. Yeah, they can't block it. Oh, they don't even think about it. They don't even think about it. Alright. I love to see that. That picks up the pace a bit for me. They phase out. There is no way I would ever negate that. This just lets my opponent attack for a turn. I don't really see that as a very impactful thing. So. And Sapphire Medallion at this point is also not really doing anything. So, flipping the search is actually pretty good, but I'm going to just try to cast Uro again. It's essentially the same. I don't know. I'm okay with this line. Actually resolved. Wow. I don't think I'm casting Tameo. I don't want Ledger Shredder to trigger for free. Yeah, I don't want it to trigger for free. That's it. That's all I've got. I just don't want it to trigger, so I'm just not going to cast second spell. Each player permanently controls Rose River. See if I can't get into a fight. Earl resolved, so hopes are high, maybe. Nope. So keep Uro in play. Okay. Well, maybe I wasn't even supposed to get into a fight there. That wasn't even very good. Weird. Only one unknown. It does reset the combat so it can go on a more relevant card. Just feel like I'm pretty ahead given what just happened there, but no, maybe not. Oh, well, turn too late. Yep, of course. Yeah, my opponent's facing down a lot of damage too, so. Ledger Shredder will trigger here. There's no way I go this whole turn just playing around Ledger Shredder. That's too cute. And it's still a 2/4, so I can block it with both of these. I am always playing it too. I'm not gonna not play it. Opponent's holding up priority, and I don't know for what. Flare? Pact? Oh, looks like that is the case. Oh, it is Flare. Alright, it's Flare. They don't want Tamiyo, that's fair. I didn't even really think about it, but yep, that is what just happened. This has been a pretty gnarly game. There's not many targets for Essence Scatter, so I might as well... Whoa! Oh! Never mind. Oh, opponent, you swung too. Oh no, you swung. Oh no. Yikes. I stand big corrected. Big corrected. Yeah, oh look. It's the card. Just in time. So Jace is not doing anything, but I'm still going to cast it. And I might as well plot nothing. I'm not going to draw a discard. Knowing me, I'll discard Ulamog off the top or something. My opponent drew Jin-Gitaxias. That's crazy. Alright, so they get to keep one of these cards. If it's River's Rebuke, they're sort of back in it, but not really. Not really, honestly. Okay, my opponent wisened up. No attack there. Let's just loot this away. Maybe I can prevent the Ledger Shredder from doing anything. Okay. I mean, now the ball is in my court. I have not played a card yet. Let me just make sure. Yeah, I have not played a card. I can cast this. That I will not cast because of Ledger Shredder. That was also instant, so it works out. Play this before the Baral gets to do anything. Mana Drain. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna keep Mana Drain. I'm gonna keep that one. Can get rid of Disdainful Stroke. Actually, we don't need Cultivate. Disdainful Stroke's not looking too useful, but Cultivate's certainly not looking useful at all. So, let's keep the land. We have Jace. Let's start paying attention to it. Oh man, these Uro draws are just so good. I'm even going to do this here. Yeah, I'm even going to do this. Doppelgang? Well, I don't expect it to resolve, but now they have to worry about this. That's funny. Oh, just tap out opponent. No! No! So, there's no... I mean, I'm not going to double Doppelgang into double Counterspell. I just don't think that makes any sense. I'm just winning by a lot in this situation. They let me go to combat, so I don't expect any... Okay, interesting. Yep. They countered their own creature. You got it. Opponent countered their own creature. Interesting. Again, I fully expect this to get countered, as much as I'd love to whip it out there and scream. It's just gonna get countered. Man, we have seen... I've seen half my deck. I've actually seen half my deck. That was a cool game. Long game. Pretty back and forth, too. Yeah, I mean... Early quick mana versus Baral. We could shut down Baral and... Well, wait, no. Did we actually shut down Baral? No, it... Did that work? I don't know. I sent it before I started streaming. Oh, I mean, I thought I did. Also, it does say Uro now, because I had just updated it again. So the funny is missing. Alright, this can be a very good matchup, and it looks like it's going to be. That involves me not actually casting Uro. Which I think is totally fine. At least in these early turns, right? Like, I'm just a Tamiyo gamer now. We're not even Uro. We're just Tamiyo gaming. I'm drawing 2 cards a turn. It's not getting any better for you. Let's play... Boop, boop. Please counter this. Alright. Oh, love it. So, I think there's a Pact negation. So how do I deal with Ojutai? I don't think I do. We just flip Tamiyo, but then it just sort of dies. It's kind of sad. Oh, I don't have an untapped green? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't play a Boreal Grazer either. Yeah, that was just miserable then, huh? This is embarrassing. That is an insanely good Pact negation. That's for sure. That's absolutely disgusting. So, copying Ojutai, what does that do? How do you not... Yeah, there you go. Alright, can we not have a 1 mana efficient card, please? So I can copy Ojutai, and then I can stare at my opponent's Ojutai. We can have a little Ojutai stare-off. Looks good to me. Should have tapped the Elvish Mystic, too. You wouldn't complain about the typo? Yeah, I know. I know. But it had to be done. Gets +3/+2, which is 1 too many, so... Oh, come on with the answers! How is my opponent turning this game around? Are you kidding me? Alright. Mine is useless then. Alright, Uro is nice, but Ojutai is just really, 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 really good. Honestly, I might have wanted to just play the Grazer to block, but it's only one anticipate. I don't know, what's it's not like I'm stopping future anticipates, it'll only be one. This one or a future one, it's just, I don't know. Why not? Ugh. Not trample, but lifelink. Okay, don't care about that. Okay, I think we actually got ourselves out of this. Which is kind of nuts. Kind of nuts. Yep, looks like we did get ourselves out of this. I was playing all fast. Wow, get scammed, opponent. You almost scammed me with that pact, but I have scammed you back. Haha. Get schmeeded. Get schmeeded. That was an interesting game. I thought I lost to that pact. I had a good start. Okay, Tamiyo is insane, but this deck comes very prepared for Tamiyo. This is just generally a difficult matchup. But I'm gonna give it the old college try. But there's a lot of removal. Like a bajillion removal. I shall play you and do nothing. You have a removal spell. You do not. No removal, no mana rock. Interesting. Oracle. That's very fine. No, that's not great. Missed a land. Oh man, wanted to land there so bad. We can still attack with this though, so life is probably okay. Opponent, you could have blocked it. You could have blocked it, opponent. What are you doing over there? What are you doing? Yep. So opponent's scrying, but it costs no mana. Well, we're drawing, but it costs 2. My opponent did nothing. Alright, I'm not going to try to protect Tamiyo if they have a removal spell. I mean, you haven't had one, so... You shouldn't have let me draw if you do have a removal spell. It doesn't make sense. Like, you shouldn't have let that draw trigger resolve. Okay. So I have multiple counterspells, and I am arguably significantly ahead on board, so I'm just going to not do anything. Alright, yep, opponent sees the writing on the wall. That's the power of Tamiyo. Okay, so Uro is, at least in my iteration of Uro, I know their bracket system is a little weird right now. It's not like all your Keenan players only play against Keenan or whatever, but I did play against Tier 1 commanders of old, and a wide range of my opponents were simply those Tier 1 commanders, right? Now, I would say that makes this a little undesirable to play if that's not your kind of thing. However, it's still pretty good against those things because you don't really care what happens to your commander, and that is a huge boon against kind of every strategy, whether it's the weakest strategies, the strongest ones. You're like, oh, Uro got answered, let me just put it in the graveyard, cast it later. That's sort of what you're doing anyways, right? You're just explore spamming. That's all you really want to do. And that's pretty strong. I did end up adding, I think, 2 more lands than I started with. I didn't end up going up to like the 45 or something, but you easily could. I never cast Emrakul. I cast Ulamog, I think, once. But for like the big, super expensive cards, maybe not super necessary. They're just sort of fun cards to have in your deck. I mean, who doesn't like casting a giant Eldrazi? It's just that the format is 1-2-3s, right? If you get through the 1-2-3 part of the game, then you can start caring about the fun, goofy cards that cost more than 3. It's just Historic Brawl is not friendly to these things anymore. If ever it really was. It's just certainly not now. It's very difficult to get any of this to matter. Especially in the tier 1 sphere. I did not play against Sithis or Keenan specifically, but I saw a bunch of Ruskos, and Rusko doesn't really care if you cast Emrakul, right? Not really, so you could easily take these out. And Vorinclex was in here because I like what it does, and I thought it would be nice to maybe tempo lock down my opponent or something, but this could just be Tooth and Nail or another counter spell or something like that. And because we're in tier 1, or looming with the higher tier commanders, maybe not like top tier 0 nonsense, could probably get rid of basically this entire chunk of your deck. Like, I just wouldn't run this, just full stop. Wouldn't run Vorinclex either, full stop. And yeah, more counterspells, more lose all text effects like Unable to Scream, Witness Protection, very good cards against certain things, like Baral would like to exist. If you can deny Baral super early, your opponent's miserable. Roxanne was something we saw a lot of. If you could just... well, Roxanne, if it doesn't have a Cavern of Souls, it comes in a little too late to dodge the efficient counterspells, so that one's not too bad, right? The counterspell package now is way stronger than it used to be when I played Uro the first time, like a year ago. And the green early stuff is, again, way stronger. And that part has let you play Uro turn 2 basically every game, and that is insane. You even have games, I think there were a couple, where if you have Tamiyo in your opening hand, you're just playing Tamiyo as your commander, and you're playing a Tamiyo game until it's dealt with. Tamiyo is disgusting on turn 1. If Tamiyo was in your command zone, you're certainly up in tier 0, but sometimes you just have it out of hand, right? It's like Ragavan. It's the blue Ragavan, it really is. Opponent really needs to deal with it, or it's going to run away with the game very quickly. And for some reason, it has 3 toughness, so it does a pretty good job at blocking a bunch of things. Yeah, ooh indeed. Ooh indeed. So that's what I gotta say about all that. The extra turn effects are just good. That's not any different here than it would be in another deck, especially with a commander that draws more than 1 card a turn, right? If you ever have Uro and you're taking extra turns, the game basically ends immediately. Opponent has to engage with what you're doing some way. If you're just Uro swing, extra turn, like, it's done. Opponent just gonna have pack their bags and move on to the next game. The Modern Age costing 2 is pretty nice. I'm sure there are better cards. Maybe Consider is just better than this, right? That's just arguably okay. I just wanted a way to not consistently, but have some cards in my deck that were fueling Uro. But that really didn't feel like a big deal. In fact, I would make the argument this probably just wants to be a fetch land, right? I'm getting a card in my graveyard, and I'm just playing more lands for Uro, for my Explore spamming. So I really don't know if I liked this. I mean, I like the card. It's satisfying to play this card, but it's pretty low power, and I didn't play against really any aggro at all. Like, at all. So, I don't know. The 2/3 is kind of useless. Yeah, it's I don't know. I got the feels good out of the card. I could probably just get rid of it at this point. Malcolm and Search for Skant are kind of doing the same thing, but these cards are actually really good, whereas that one really wasn't. Chart of Course is situational. I mean, you can swing with a 0 power creature like a bird or goose or anything, a Boreal Grazer even. You know, if you're just swinging with Tamiyo as well. So I do like Chart of Course, and sometimes it makes sense to discard if you need to just discard, right, and feel Uro. So 2-minute draw 2 is, I think that's fine still. That's about it. I really like Uro. I liked the opponents I played against. I didn't feel like I was getting demolished, and I also didn't feel like I was completely annihilating people before the game gets to start, right? I didn't feel like I was trampling over everyone. So I had a surprisingly healthy back and forth with this commander, and that's pretty cool. And Uro does like to play longer, slower games, kind of. You know, I mean, even if that game involves you denying your opponent half the spells they cast, because you have a bunch of counter spells. I really like Uro, so I'm glad I gave it a second shot, and I can absolutely recommend it. So let me know what you thought about Uro in the year of our Lord 2025. Crazy. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.